Hello everyone, welcome to a tournament replay cast. This is the tournament that Greyhound organized on the Bootcamp server. A lot of high profile players except for Putin, and I'm also not in it, but I'm not a high profile player. And this is the finals of Krot versus Greyhound. The finals are best of 5. And I'm not here alone, I'm joined by Putin and Little Villain. Say hello.
Hello everybody.
Right. And before we go into the replay, we're gonna take a look at the decks, and this is Greyhound's deck playing Scandinavia. Oh, that is a interesting looking Scandinavia, no?
It's definitely a very interesting one. You don't see many times that people have only 4 cards in the infantry tab.
Yeah, it's 4 cards and no CV90, no STRF 90.
Yes, there were units that you actually sometimes played as Scandi for. So it's a very unusual one.
It looks like those extra points went into a Draken.
Yeah, the Draken it's one of those planes that have like a lot of these short range rockets. I honestly, to this day, I don't know how good or bad they actually are.
I haven't done the test myself, but from what people reported, they're very RNG based. You can get lucky with the missiles and absolutely massacre like a helicopter. You can use it as a helo diver. But then again, sometimes you miss a couple of those missiles and you're out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, I'd expect that given that you have like a lot of low HE missiles, I expect that and like with a high rate of fire, you'd probably have a lot. You'd be more consistent in those with like 2 or 3 missiles, like the L-17K or like a Lazur. But I don't know.
The range versus helicopter is pretty short though.
Yeah, also of course they're like direct fire, so you have to like actually dive a helo, unlike again L-17s etc. Like this Draken here. F100D, no Fighting Falcon, no Block 5, 2 very popular planes. I mean, other than the infantry tab really and the Draken, it's not that crazy. No helo-borne infantry.
Also, overall anti-plane options of this deck is just relying on 5 automatics and 2 blocks, right? That might get overwhelmed. It's not like a super robust AA network.
Yeah, he has the MLU, but only on train, so it's not going to be very consistent. Though I have to say, these days I play with this with basically the same AA setup in Scandi. I feel like the automatics are good enough, and I use the LVKVs a lot more aggressively, a lot more as ground support than air support. So and
I do agree.
And the
personally,
RBS
I touch the RBS 90, right? I sport the Hawk just
no RBS.
Have the no RBS. Yes, I decided I can handle without.
Yeah.
Wheels.
Yeah, it can be rough, but yeah. All right.
Okay, let's see what the Krot Pro does.
Yeah, let's see what Krot has brought. Eurocore. Commander Marines and Panther is not something you see very often in Unspec.
Neither is IDS.
IDS you don't see very often.
Yeah.
Mistral. Only 4 cards in a recon tab. It's also unusual.
And the 40-point more.
Yeah, the standard Eurocore deck is usually run with only 4 cards of planes, right? So here Krot sacrificed kind of a lot, in my opinion. He sacrificed the helicopter Tigers, the helo tab, and also the 5th slot in the recon tab, which would be like the standard layout of the deck.
Or the 5th slot in the support tab. The Krotal and Mistral is only ground base AA. He has no Rolands, no Gepards.
Yeah.
That being said, he does have double cards of SF, so he's probably relying on it.
Yeah, true. But he'd struggle against someone who will like, and I'm not looking at anyone here who uses like a lot of MTVs and the like.
Yeah. Also, a note like there is only very few CVs. Right?
Yeah,
6 CVs is borderline. Like you might get away with it, but I think it might be rough.
It's definitely a deck that is. I mean, certain decks are of course already like stronger on some maps than others, but this is on top of that. It's also a deck with only 6 CVs that you don't want to bring on any map. Like Nuclear Winter is coming with so many points, so many 2-pointers. 6 CVs against someone who who might try to snipe your CVs would get really rough.
That being said, don't they get a? Can't they swap out some of the cards before the game? They have a sideboard, if I remember correctly.
True, but this is the deck that it chose to play. So yes.
So this is the final option.
This is the one that I chose into the game. I don't know what map it is. So if maybe it's like Mudfight, in which case it would very much make sense. Only one pointers in a few zones. If it was Nuclear Winter is coming, then I don't know.
What I don't understand is that mortar.
Yeah, the style points for mortar definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get 6 more rounds, and you're amphibious. And I mean, in all fairness, if it's a large map, and you really rely, just hypothetical example, yeah, it's a large map. You're reliant on your mortar for fire support, and you have to move a lot. Then there is maybe an argument to be made for the extra autonomy and a bit of off-road speed, but still, that the age of 30 is just so ridiculous. I don't know why you'd pass up on that. Kyler also, some people like it. I'm not a fan of it.
I always lose it.
Yeah, it's
a bit too squishy.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a tad too squishy. Also for 70 points, 12 armor, just... I mean, the autocannon and such is nice. Like, you do pay for it, that's why it's so expensive.
I mean,
and
yeah,
10 RPM auto-loaded as well. It's quite good, but...
I'm pretty sure the Kyler and the Kanona Jagdpanzer are in the deck to compensate lack of MX-13 in the recon tab.
He also doesn't have, like, some people like to use cheap AMX 10Ps or maybe some martyr ones with Deckungsgruppe or base Panzergrens, something along those lines, so he doesn't have that either. Or like a cheap card for Panthers. He has a Panther with the Commander Marines and CV, but those are expensive and low availability. So yeah, he probably relies on these two for fire support.
Yeah, but overall this is still well-balanced deck. Only thing it lacks, like really a mistake in this deck might be only the lack of Gebhardt, but other than that, you really can see how this is played to great effect.
All right then.
Shall we see?
Yeah, okay, never mind. The Mistral is upwitted. I think I was just checking really quick with that because I think in the past you couldn't upwit this, but whatever. Let's take a look at the replay. Once they're loaded. Highway to Seoul it is.
I have to say, your replay folder loads much quicker than mine.
It's because it's on an SSD, and I deleted a lot of replays recently. So yeah, this Highway, 6 CVs on Highway could get a bit spicy, but I think he has 3 tank CVs, right? So Delta, Echo, Charlie are the only front lines. So if he knows where the front line is roughly gonna be, it's not that easy to snipe some leopards. And with a no block 5, no Vigan. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Yeah, he's playing red, so he's on the other side.
Also, on this map, I also think that it's kind of fine to go with 6 CVs only, right? Here are not that many important pointers. Like that, there are no 2 pointers, so you can really go lighter on the CV. So
yes, and if the only CV card he had in his sideboard was like a Jeep card, he might not necessarily want to take that against the Beacon deck.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's gonna take the Beacon quite a while to kill the Leopard too, and it's really honestly hard to sneak something around that can actually be a threat. I think only really Charlie and Golf is where it's relatively easy to lose something to something sneaking around just because of all that open area to the north. But I mean, Echo losing a CV to something sneaking through, it's really your own mistake. It's relatively easy to protect that, and yeah. All right, let's take a look at the openers. Greyhound starting with the Dragon for that early Helo Scout, against the Tiger. Fennec 20mm, LVKV M41s. This in the base on the highway parked. I don't honestly know for sure how deep you have to be for not have any line of sight onto that upper ground, but I always like to see that. I still haven't done the test. I wanted to test if you place the fob on the road, if you can see it from the upper ground with the ground unit. It would really screw up your reinforcement route, but there's just no other way to hide it, and this could really throw people off. But now I told everyone what my secret strategy is.
So guys, if you don't see Razzmann's fob, just Artie the road.
You've heard it here.
And also we have to remember, like, Krot is really a big fan of sniping FOBs.
Yes. If he spots your fob, the first thing he does is just constantly try to kill it, and so he's very horny for killing those fobs. Doesn't make any sense, but anyway, 2 RBS 90s and the LVKV is RSAA.
Other than that, what we can see, like, Greyhound is really light on tanks.
Yeah,
Given
only-
that this is a highway, it's just only one STRV 103D, which is like a 90-point tank.
Mhm.
Very light on tanks. Let's
I
see what the
Yeah, I don't know how heavy Krot is on smoke usage, but if the opponent doesn't use smoke a lot, then these highway positions are a dream for in 103D, I think. So much open field and right here next to that big triangle forest to quickly retreat could work very well, but against...
Krot is bringing a Leclerc.
Yeah,
but still there is a
Leclerc.
liquid coming, so
yeah. But yeah, I think other than that, also like no infantry spam really. Det var 3 Norrlandsjägare, Falskheim squad, Falskermsjägare, the Swedish ones as well, and the Jägare squad. No like Dragoner spam, anything along those lines. So relatively few units as well in general.
also interesting that Greyhound didn't opt it for the 5-point wheel transport, that 5-point track to carry his Norrlandsjäger in.
Yeah. Especially given how many you get, you could save a lot of points over the thing. But on the other hand, especially against AMX 10s, if you get shot in the 5-point track, you take twice the damage, right? You have 5 HP, so you lose all your squads by one shot.
That's true.
So that is actually quite an important. So that's maybe the reasoning for it, which I could very much understand. Because if an AMX 10 kills this at max range, you lose, I think, like 2 men.
I think 3 men, but yeah.
How much HP does it have? 12?
12?
Yeah, so you lose 12, so you lose 2 men
so.
at max range. Sky Defender Lynx, a bit scary to own with the Lynx against a Tiger, because if your Dragon doesn't get very lucky or anything like that. But on the other hand, his only other CV option is Track.
Lynx is fast enough, so...
True.
I think it's okay.
But yeah, there's also... Oh no, there is a Tiger, I was for a second. Tiger, Cassiope, another Cassiope.
Is that Cassiope going to be flying around?
Probably.
Let's see what's happening.
I would assume so. Or it could also protect Golf and Charlie, but I think if he went for Golf or Charlie, he would probably start it like down here.
I mean, even if he goes for Golf and Charlie, chances are he's not going to see you there much. I don't think Greyhound is going. Looking at
something that Greyhound could have known as well, by the way, is that Krot is starting with an infantry CV, because at the start of the game they're not unloaded. So if you hear the sound of the enemy capturing the zone at the start of the game, it's almost guaranteed to be an infantry CV. Unless they move it and recapture it. But also very low on infantry. There's 2 chasseurs, 2 commandos para. I think that's it, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's usually often enough for this map.
Yeah.
Especially in the opener. It's very tank heavy based. So I prefer what Krot purchased, honestly.
Yeah, but I think if you're also going tank heavy and you want to go with an early push, a lot of like cheap inf spam just to shield if you want to push right here in the opener can also be very useful, but he only has the chasseur 85, he doesn't have the base ones or the reservist, so his infantry is a tad more expensive for that kind of stuff.
Definitely. So shall we proceed?
Yeah, and only one VBL Mistral for AA on top of the Tiger. But obviously against Scandi you don't really have to like look out for helicopters ruining your day. Unless you're playing against Nick the Man, who will start with Fennec Tattoos very often. Multiples even. Block 15 as well.
But that's where the points went. Not into tanks, but into the block.
Although I think Krot is also... I don't have a lot of games versus him. Like only really the previous tournament finals and like one game on stream at some point. I think those are all the 1 versus 1s. But I think he also sometimes likes to start with ASFs early or planes, but I might be mistaken. Clearly trying to go for the Tiger. But one off. He got a bit of damage. He got 4 damage just from the splash on the ground there. Actually very interesting.
Looked so unusual.
It really looked quite far away, that missile, but... Yeah, I think
already out of fuel.
Yeah, it only has 75 seconds. But it also means, not like it's a big deal, but it also rearms quickly. And there's the Mirage trying to counter it. Oh, another Dragon. Oh, 1 HP. RBS?
Wasn't very bad.
Oh, the RBS. No.
Salvo size of 2.
Yeah, where did the LVKV go? Oh, it's up there, right? Yeah, it's up there on the north. Mortar ready to smoke. Nothing going for this town, or maybe it was Miss Micro. But Krot not punishing. Log 15 went out again.
So the both players were kind of heavily for the air opener, like to capture and get the air game going. Interesting on this map.
Yeah,
but the Krot is also starting to attack the triangular forest on the highway. There is a push coming.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive, and to be fair, Greyhound is very light here, and
yeah. But if the Leclerc comes up there, right next to the Fallschirmjäger, and these Fallschirmjäger move up a bit, they could get a nasty side shot, but he really has to move them up. Yeah, he's moving them up. So IP up north.
The Tiger given no value to Krot at all, aside from like being a threat by its presence. No value from it at all. No scouting information.
He accidentally loaded them in. I think he probably like wanted to retreat them and accidentally clicked on the TJB. It can happen so quickly. Happens even more if you have big ass unit labels. Yeah, and especially at 4 HP, you don't want to be very aggressive against Scandi with their 4 HE 2800 meter RBS Jeeps.
But as you said earlier, really the lack of infantry in the Delta push, because he has very expensive chasseurs, is proving critical for Greyhound and he for the Krot, and he fails the attack. It's not getting much progress.
Now I'm interested.
Fallschirmjäger holding it.
There is an RBS 19 in the base for Greyhound.
He does spot the fob immediately. I wonder if he noticed, because it was only for a split second, and he must have had paid attention to really notice it. Oh, and those Nordlandsjäger are taking a lot of damage, but at 15 HP, really paying off here. 10 HP squads obviously would have been dead.
It's interesting that low HP Tiger only now going to repair and rearm. So a lot of wasted time on it.
Yeah, but I guess he felt that if there might be a need right in the opener, so he just tried to use it more defensively.
Razzmann, can you show what was the defense on there was RBS 90, I see. Because there was the Kasabi was shot down, and I was wondering what so it was RBS 90.
Only spotted the fob, not the CV.
Oh, he purchased that RBS very early.
Yeah, very early, together with a scout defender as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good way, very effective way to defend.
Very, very expensive quite strong defense on here in Echo. 2 Fallschirmjäger squad compared to those Legion 90.
Definitely.
Claire not doing much because most of the support is really dead, or the little support that it had in the first place. LRM being bought.
Well, we knew where it's coming, right? It's coming for the fob, guys.
Probably. Although even if he doesn't have the fob, he likes to buy it early, or very often even start with it. I guess we'll see. Looks like it's going for the fob.
Yeah, it's a fob. The only other reasonable options would be to try to support the push, but there is no push really coming for the triangular forest, so it's good.
Oh, and that Legion squad.
That's a classic field marshal move.
Fallschirmjäger just instantly murdering them. You have to get a bit lucky with LRM, or like with MLRS to snipe fobs.
Especially at this distance, it's like
and it's
really,
downwetted
really
as well, so it's gonna take a bit.
Fighting through the whole map.
Something like Beacon and 110s are just so much more consistent.
Oh.
Yeah, not a single point of damage. Like I said, you have to be a bit lucky.
So now it actually favors the Greyhound, because the fact that his FOB was spotted, because as we know, Krot, he will get tilted. He will even buy the second LRM maybe, and will try to really snipe you, but so far, like for the first few minutes, you are winning. You are ahead of points because LRM are just trying to snipe your fob.
120 points wasted. So Mirage and F4F KWS trying to kill those planes. Dragon probably gonna die here if I had to guess. Yep, that block will get out. Ace F-wise, he's definitely outmatched Greyhound. So he either has to bait him into AA or get just really lucky in the trades.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. On the other hand, we know that there is no seed from the Krot.
Yeah, yeah.
So his automatics are very safe. That's cool.
It's
But-
actually really good. If you know your opponent has no seed, that automatic becomes just so much stronger. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Although it's still gonna be, the key strengths are still gonna be a threat, and like with all those recon options, it's relatively easy to spot the automatic. Especially if you manage to get your opponent into a defensive and he has to maneuver the automatic around this area. It's harder to hide, but still with no seed, that could really be a game changer.
Just a question, Razzmann. Is the automatic the loudest unit in the game?
Oh, it very much is. It very much is. It has like noise values. To very quickly explain it, noise value of 1 is basically default, right, when your unit is doing nothing. And the noise value of 2 is, makes it twice as easy to spot. Tigers sneaking around, KWS at the north. Taking 2 damage from the LVKV, 3 damage. Tiger getting killed.
Wow. The scout defender they're paying.
Oh, automatic is gonna be in range. Might just be out of. Oh, it's gonna get a bit off, but probably not gonna kill it. Or oh no, it does get it. Oh my god, this thing is just so crazy. Four shots. It's just so good. That bit of range, like all other specs, right, have reduced range versus planes compared to helicopters. So they have, I think, 2,625 at max, like the Gepard and such.
But that being said, the Mirage, when it went down, had radar malfunctioning, so it probably was damaged already. To be fair.
No, I think the LVKV only shot at the. In any case, still, it's still crazy how good it is. Oh, and Greyhound doing the counter helicopter offensive here. Again, Fennec 20mm are actually quite good if they manage to aim. LRM going again for the fob. Beacon being bought and finally coming out and aiming. Greyhound might have just waited for the LRM to fire to counter Artie. But Krot actually moving his LRM away from the fob before firing. Probably exactly because of that.
Honest, with that dispersion on the LRM, he might clip the beacon, who knows?
And the beacon was only two arrows to the front and side. So a back or top direct shot or near direct hit, I should say, will kill it. I remember losing a Uragan to a very lucky LRM in one single shot to a certain player that I'm not gonna name.
Does his name start with Poo and end with Tin?
Possibly. I can neither confirm nor deny that. It's quite a while ago. Anyway, back to the noise values. Noise value of 2 means that if you... A weapon with a noise value of 2 means that if you shoot, you're twice as easy to detect. And the automatic has, from what I've checked... I didn't check every single unit, but I checked many. By far the loudest noise value with a value of... What was it? 7 point something? I think Putin.
It was something like this. It's 4 plus some like four times the caliber, so it's like really loud.
Specs in general are very loud compared to other units, significantly louder. But the automatic just easily takes the cake. So
guys, we missed the air game, the air battle happening around the scout defender.
Yes, I saw the plane go down. Oof. Which one was it?
I legit didn't pay attention. There's lever 2 CV coming.
Automatics are magical. Make you forget about everything.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And speaking of noise, in case anyone played during late 2015 when the Scandi DLC got first released in a beta version, there was, in the early beta version, the automatic, once it shot, it would just constantly produce a sound. Even if it didn't fire, even if you didn't spot it, you could just zoom in and hear the sound once it fired its first shot. Like every second or so, it bang, bang, bang.
Very annoying bug. So, but the situation in the field is looking very grim, actually.
For Krot.
For Krot, yes. Like the amount of blue dots on the map is severely outmatching the amount of red dots.
Very much, and LRM is still being basically unused, useless. Although I guess maybe not really, because the beacon, I think, so far has only fired shots on the LRM. So in that sense, I guess Greyhound also wasted 130 points thus far.
That being said, I think when he finally wants to attack the Triangle Forest, he can very easily get good use out of that beacon.
Beacon fired one shot and is now re-aiming, maybe at a LRM again?
The MLU is out. I think what happened there up on the right is that Greyhound must have lost the ASF. It seems because the MLU is was purchased
Yeah, but it
to
was,
provide some AA, I guess.
yeah. Although it was also circling around this area against those Leclerc tanks. There's also only a single Crotal in terms of AA on the field. Krot really relying a lot on these ASFs.
And Leclerc swung from the highway part closer to the road from Rockstar, so that entire highway part is now pretty weak.
I mean, I honestly don't understand what's Krot trying to do here. He has a bit tank superiority, right? But he really lacks the supporting assets to it.
And decides to buy a second 2A1. He has two 2A1s and the Leclerc on the field versus 1-103D. And no infantry. Gets one hit on the Leclerc. Crotal hits once. Twice. Definitely not good. Oh, the automatic.
That was kind of ballsy, maybe unnecessary dive by Greyhound, but
yeah, he knew the smoke was there. This is why I like the Block 5 so much. Against these smoke plays, they can do, even if they don't kill it, generally very consistent damage at least.
And a lot of annoyance to the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
LRM not being rearmed.
That's why you right click on the fob instead of next to the fob.
Indeed.
The False Academy I got finding the Leopard 2. Carlos Gustav is not enough to penetrate actually the 16th.
Ooh, that's a side shot on the 2A1 from the Lawn Taker. Very easy to miss because their special effect for firing the recoilless rifle is like an MG, so it's very easy to miss. 2 RBS 56s. They're gonna double tap 2A1s if they both hit. But they don't.
Still good enough.
Beaconing his own infantry. As is tradition with when using the beacon. I think he might one lucky or unlucky hit, and no, they actually survived.
You have to sacrifice some units for the beacon to be effective.
2A1 misses on the XA180. Automatic, yeah. If the 2A1 hadn't missed, oh no, it's gonna die anyway.
RBS, 2 RBS 56. That's a painful loss.
Very painful. Oh, those Jäger also like he was definitely going for the automatic here. Okay, they're gonna survive because the Verb T20s lost the optics because the MX-10 died. Infantry CV bought for golf, so Krot definitely thinking that he can move his Leopard 2 CV back in right away, which granted he can. Greyhound lost a lot of infantry under the assault there.
Rebuying those 2 RBSs straight away. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one plus of not getting them in the SCRF, right? They're gonna be much cheaper than if you had them in the IFV.
Wasn't rebought. He repositioned them. Look, they're 2 and 3 HP. They're not fresh. Interesting.
So what I would say is, like, we can see that this map is really favoring the tanks. In general, it favors the tank play, and Krot having the tank superiority at the moment, and I think in general is giving him a chance to hold.
Yeah.
And also a lack of the heavy IFVs and and these CV90 and STRF 9040 might have been very nice. Well, if the Greyhound would have had them, he might try to really some nice exploits in the Gulf and along the highway.
Yeah.
Where we now see the Krot is very weak.
Yeah.
If like almost nothing there. Almost nothing there.
Mm-hmm. The only thing
lacks exploitation force.
Yeah. The only thing having line of sight on the highway itself is the mortar here, right? Those commandos para cannot watch down there. And whenever I watch someone play, I hate it when they don't put anything directly on the highway. I mean, if it dies and you have like a couple of minutes of no eyes there, whatever. But this should always be on your mind to have eyes down there onto the highway, because again, this commandos para, right? Krot cannot spot those Dragoner down there. Now he can because they're up there again. But if they were down there, he wouldn't be able to spot them. And if Greyhound was playing, again, had CV90s or something, or was playing a deck with AMX10s, something along those lines, there's a good chance he would eventually just try to fast move them down the road and could really exploit them. And now he notices that this is empty, right?
Yeah, but still, very two asymmetric gameplays here, right? Krot really heavy on tanks, just a few infantry here and there, and Greyhound solely relying on infantry with one tank that is not being used throughout the whole game. Very unusual to see this.
But I think it's also one of the better maps. Well, I mean, the beacon is always nice, right? But I think this map is also one, especially from Greyhound side, where it can do a lot of work. Because Krot side, especially in mid, has just like this big triangle forest and like some bushes here and there. So very obvious positions to fire with the beacon, right? So it's very strong here. And Greyhound just always snipes the supporting units of his Leclerc. And that's why one of the reasons why he just can't make use of the Leclerc Krot. Leopard 2 down on 1 HP. Dead.
And there it is. In the meantime, and like Greyhound secures his nice +1.
Highway may be a tank-centric map, but Eric's is.
Yeah, especially in Delta, right?
Yes.
Delta is Eric's
city.
Yeah, Eric's city is just, they're just so good. 1-1 being bought from Greyhound to counter the tanks. So I think, yeah, Krot should have really struck with his original assault and tried to take the highway area first. But he just lost it, and then Greyhound took over the initiative.
I really think that just a bit more infantry with that initial push would have worked.
That also
trying to make 2 squads of reserve stretch was maybe a bit too ambitious, but
yeah, the Leclerc just doesn't have the firepower to kill whatever's gonna stop them.
Maybe a bit too much metagaming went into the planning. But we finally see a super heavy from the Greyhound. STRV 1-1
and
is on the field.
It's obviously gonna miss first with the first shot. The shot that could have killed the Leclerc obviously misses. And a Kyler being bought.
It gives the beacon a chance.
Kyler, not the best choice versus Falskiminger, because if you just take 1 HP worth of damage from something else, the Falskiminger are gonna kill you. And they're gonna get one shot by those RBS 56. They're gonna get one shot by an MLU, which is probably not the biggest threat since one is already dead and it's not on high veterancy.
Going for a beacon,
but still.
or the fob? That's the
or, I mean, kind of both, but probably for the fob again. Because with only 14 shells in its magazine, if you want to call it.
That's a widespread.
I guess I'd go panicked by the beacon. Oh.
Probably not. No.
Interesting.
Pretty sure the beacon was used very... It's just at that long range, right? And down-vetted. And so many tanks, but so little infantry. And the infantry is also pushing now without support. There's 3 2A1s here. Granted, 2 of them are damaged, but this one is full HP. He lost 2 Pentagon squads here now. And will probably lose 2 Martyrs as well.
Yeah, the problem is there has so much range that Martyrs basically have no way of reversing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why in deep forests, against most decks, they're not gonna be that great on 1-to-1 engagements. Now the Leopard 2 CV coming out. The 2 Leopard 2 CVs left, right? All 3 infantry CVs deployed, so 2 CVs left for Krot to call in.
I mean that, and he's also calling in a CV without actually securing any ground.
Yeah.
Which might work against him.
Also lost his only foothold down in Echo because he was over-aggressive with the Legion 90. Mortar getting killed, although it's out of ammo, so it's mostly worthless, unless Krot actually wanted to resupply it.
40 points is still 40 points.
And I guess it's the only eyes, like I said earlier, that is actually looking down the highway.
And we see a Greyhound starting to push on the Gulf with some 3 regular squads. Again, lacking a support bit. But still, there is 50 men.
30 men and
one Commando Spada.
Single guy. This is Matt personally.
He will die as a hero.
Those Falskiminger did get dealt with though. But again, I don't think you want to trade 2 Pentagon squads in a Mark 2 with 2 Falskiminger. That's just not worth it.
Definitely not.
Especially not in this position.
So this was honestly very poor use of the Mark 2s there.
LRM still trying to snuff the fob. Once again, no value whatsoever.
Yeah, how much FOB did it cost to attempt to kill enemy FOB?
Well, soon to have like 7,000 for now. And the fob's still not even half down, right? You have to get a bit lucky here. 2 hits so far, 2 direct hits, 3 hits. The salvo.
Eventually, this might.
I do have to say, I
One more
wonder
hit.
if
salvo might get.
Greyhound doesn't want to push up completely the triangle forest.
And there
He
we
has
go.
a nice concave going, so maybe he's content with just trading it back and forth. So far, he has been getting better trades.
I think maybe he just doesn't want to push unless he has to, and what has to is when
Exactly.
Krot puts in CV. And he obviously probably wants to like put at least some points into golf to either annoy him or force Krot to spend points there.
I mean, Greyhound is in a really dominant position. The fact that he lost the fob, no more beacon for him, but
Not a big issue.
not that a big
at this
issue. Yeah.
point.
So it took 20 minutes to one LRM to actually be lucky enough to snipe the fob, but
Yeah, and we saw like the single salvo with like 4 hits killed half of the HP, right? So a lucky do 2 relatively lucky salvos would have been enough, but he needed like half the game to actually do it.
No.
And I wonder if Greyhound is gonna Krot, is gonna waste another salvo there, because if he's smart enough, he will notice on the veteran seat that he killed the fob, the XP bar, to know that he killed the fob, because he didn't shoot at anything else, right? And he can check if need be to see if there's a beacon that he might have killed instead.
I think he's smart enough.
But it looks like the ammo of the Panther was successfully wasted by those M113Gs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is kind of a big deal considering there's no A in the area and just 3 Dragoner squads.
It's a very big deal.
Razzmann, given the situation, where would be your position to strike? Like where, being on a Greyhound foot, where would you strike? Would you continue your offensive to the golf or try to get him out of the delta?
Honestly, I would probably try to get in the golf, right? Because Krot has like this big tank force. So I think trying to just brute force him out of delta might not be the right call. But and given that he knows he has so many tanks, means that Krot as well just focused so much in delta, and there were no little skirmishes happening in the golf area, right? So Greyhound probably knows that there's virtually nothing there, ignoring the fact that he flushed out his whole forest down here. So I think and yeah, there we go.
What do you see another salvo coming where the fob
was queued up, but probably I assume. But look at this. I mean, he also now resupplied a mortar and some Panthers, so it's not only used by the LRM, but by a significant margin.
Oh, a leopard going down in the triangle forest.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Every time Greyhound retakes the forest, he actually gets the better trade.
It's honestly, the way it looks, it really is better if he just lets Krot come back in and kill, and then Greyhound just kills everything. Better than just pushing out and repositioning there. 1-1 firing computer reset. RBS 56 missing. Those tanks doing some work here, but it's just a bit too little. And they're just not the best to flash out 2 non-attacker squads. Missing the side shots on the Kyler apparently. Hard to tell. Each 9 is being bought here now. Automatic moving up. So only the system still the same.
Oh, that was a missed side shot by the MLU on the Leclerc.
Seems like it's gonna escape though, which is I guess alright.
It's at least something. That's the one big 3 Charles here, really. Yeah, it's only A, right? Again, getting out here. That's the one thing that most of the time can only get 1 missile off unless the plane dives very deep in, like the first MLU did. RBS misses again. 5 HP not enough against, what, 3 tanks while you're only in the bush.
Yeah, automatic.
Yeah, automatic in the golf.
Oh no. Oh no.
In the bad position.
Oh no. But Quantum Marine's not quite pushing up enough. Ah, there we go.
Wait, isn't it in like a lower position? No, it wasn't.
No. Krot getting some chasseurs, getting desperate is what I think he is with those chasseurs on the south there.
Definitely, he tries to like get some location.
The Claire's gonna run out of ammo soon. It's also only at 5 HP, and the MLU might be ready again soon, right? It took no damage. It used, I think, 2 missiles, so it's not gonna take too long to rearm that.
Guys, just a question: did we saw 2 Leopard CV down already?
Yes. So there's 1 left.
So it's might with the 6 CVs, losing 6 of yours, it might be really crucial, even on this map.
I mean, yeah, I mean, given the circumstances, for sure, Greyhound is up to 70 points. He's sticking at +2. So what? Krot has to get like a +2 at least for last 10 minutes.
Yes. He has to stop the tick, get his own +2.
Yeah, with only one CV and being so much behind on ground against Scandi, which for the most part has pretty durable CVs, right? Because you see this very often. Infantry CVs you always see, and some people use the SCRV 103 as well. And there we go, he's trying to CV snipe.
The first LRM strike actually hitting units.
I mean, unless you don't count the
FOB
FOB as
beacon as a
unit,
unit.
but yeah. The LRM is probably the big loser of this whole game. Like the worst used unit this game, I'd like to say.
The opposite of the MVP.
Opposite of nice. Although to be fair, I think the not having a FOB, the biggest thing is not even the beacon. I think it's the supply trucks that Greyhound can't resupply. Like these RBS 56, the 121, they all want ammo, and all the 15 HP squads you have, right? But the fast Maker and Nolan Segara, you use that's a side shot on the one from the 2A1. You use so much more supply on actually resupplying units than you use with, or like infantry squads specifically, than many other decks.
Definitely, but let's count how many tanks does the Krot have? What is his?
It's 2 Kylers,
3 Kylers.
3 Kylers, a Leclerc,
2
2
Leclercs.
Leclercs.
Double Leclerc.
Weiß ich nicht, Leclerc? Yikes.
That's the only the only option, because honestly, like if he wants to get back to
Yeah.
it, he really needs to like get all the 3-pointers, all the three points, right? The Charlie, Delta, and Echo. He needs to like really wipe the Greyhound of the map and use that CV to get the +2.
Is just buying more and more tanks the best choice? Wouldn't it better if he tries to like be very aggressive with helicopters? Because he also has to he has to kill CVs, right? He has to. I'm not sure if just buying tanks is enough for that at this point.
Well, he doesn't have helicopters. He has the Casiopes, right?
He still has 2 Recon Tigers, right?
Yes, he needs to purchase them. Well, he needs to get cheeky with or get some nice snipes with the helicopters, because as we said, the Scandi CVs are durable. There was a lost STRV.
Yeah, both SRVs down. Like they're getting killed.
Oh, that was this was a crucial kill, honestly.
I mean, the thing is, but like even with all those tanks, there's so many bushes.
The last CV being purchased.
Yeah, there's so many bushes, so many ambush situations that he can use with Nordlandsjäger and Fallskärmsjäger. He just doesn't have the time to make the best out of his tanks, I think.
Yeah, and let's be honest, +2 tick is not enough for Krot anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Soon he will need like +3.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and what do we have here? There's nothing to kill it. Literally nothing. I mean, in theory, of course, these MGs could, but in practice, we all know how that's gonna work out. There we go.
So CV dead, and this is a GG. Like Krot can surrender right here, right now. Honestly.
I mean, he's advancing in mid, but it's.
Well, I mean, even if he gets the Delta CV, won't actually impact the game. And second of all, pushing in there versus Fallskärmsjäger is always.
I mean, honestly, at this moment, Greyhound can just send one CV somewhere, hide it, and just go AFK.
Yeah, if he's actually worried about anything.
So. I don't know. Maybe they're playing like because this is a tournament. Then there's the rule for the conquest point, So maybe this is also.
Yeah, the rule for anyone who isn't aware that if you surrender a game, then it counts as if the opponent has 500 conquest points. In the event of a draw of the best of 5, it matters. It depends on who has the most conquest points amassed.
Pretty sure Greyhound is just going to get 500 points though.
Not anymore. Not at this point anymore.
Okay.
That was a cheeky use of Tiger we were speaking about. Speaking about.
There's the Panthers.
I mean, at this moment.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's. Looks like it's going to be time. Looking at the time of the replay.
Metagaming.
So eventually, like the guy with more tanks won the Delta and Echo.
Yeah,
Right, because-
after 35 minutes.
At the 35 minutes, it was just a very late attack.
The question is though, how much did he win that because Greyhound also spent points on golf, etc., right?
There was really not that many points spent on golf. Like there was a 100, 200 points. Max. Something between 100 and 200. If you count the helicopters as well. So
Just imagine if Krot had used the LRM in mid. Oh, also the fob seemed to be empty. Yeah, KD is not even the one side of that. Congo's points paint a whole different picture.
Yeah, that was a overall pretty dominant performance from Greyhound.
For sure. That LRM just... Yeah, that's what happens if you just focus so much on... Same with CV sniping, right? If you just use the LRM, your artillery constantly just for CV sniping, if it doesn't work out, it's just wasted points.
To be honest, if you do know you're going to try to fob snipe, CV snipe, you might as well take Tubarty.
Yeah, true. And he never, like, he also could have, like, the ideas. He didn't, what he could have done is he had, like, ASF advantage early in the game, right? Could have body IDS and fly around with his 2 ASFs and the IDS and just bomb the place.
definitely. I was definitely not a really great performance from the Krot. He had a deck advantage.
And
He had a deck advantage and he didn't manage to
yes,
use it.
and again, especially against decks like Scandi that have like such strong infantry, you need the fire support, direct and indirect, to win those infantry fights. And most notably in like the mid area, right, where Erics are just gonna dominate so much, and you don't really have the automatic kind of fire support that other decks have. You have the Mother too, but again, they just get killed by Erics most of the time, and that's why you need the LRM the most. And just he never used it there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's game 1, best of 5. The winning deck cannot be played again, I believe, is the rule. So yeah, we'll see what's gonna be the next one.